want to believe this, but it's looking true.
Right. That's just so crazy. But that's the thing, though. That just kind of irks me because you should not look at anybody else's relationship. I think it's okay to admire, but to
Yeah, but you
go,
never know what they're dealing with, and they're not supposed to tell you because it's their relationship. So,
it's their relationship and they want to keep it private. Now, when it comes to Remy and Papoose, we know they were a little bit more open because what were they on Love and Hip Hop New York? Is
yes,
that what they were on? And so, you know how
Miami.
Miami, or
Yeah.
are they on
one
both?
of them. Yeah,
Okay. I haven't watched them in years. You know what? I had so much of my own drama going on. I feel like entertaining nobody
right.
else's. That's when I was married. I haven't watched Love and Hip Hop in a long time, and honestly, it just kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth.
And it's
I
gotten
think
worse
all
over the
those
years.
shows do. I think all those shows do just because I feel like we already get stereotyped enough as black people. So why are you going to go on a show and act real ignorant and act real ratchet in front of millions of people? Now you're confirming the stereotypes that they're making us out to seem. And that's why I don't even watch those shows anymore, because to me, it's just a bunch of ignorant, ratchet people. And that any of those shows, I just stopped
And that's
watching
what they're
them.
doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Agreed.
And I wouldn't go as far as confirming that, we're ratchet or anything like that. The way I look at the reality TV is the same way I look at the music. It's to be an influence. And they're influencing people the same way a lot of these rap stars and things like that are influencing people with their music. They're also influencing people to say, okay, this is how you want to live, this is how you want to try to be, this is it. And then we end up with a whole bunch of people who are not in the spotlight, who is just really hood, really ratchet, thinking that behavior is okay. But the thing that they're missing is money. They don't have that money. They don't have all that fame. So a lot of this mess that these people are getting away with on television, or making it seem like they're getting away with, or this story that they're writing to give people, other people in real life, it's not going to go like that for you.
Right. It's
It's
not
not.
that simple.
It's really not. It's not that simple. Relationships are not that simple. Another thing that irked me is how they go on these reality TVs and you have these people, they just get married or they claim that they've gotten married. And then within months, they're divorcing the other person. That's not how this works.
Right. What happened to fighting for your marriage? Why did you even get married?
Why'd you get married then? Like, what are y'all doing? And so when I look at these celebrity relationships, whether if it's Will and Jada, Beyonce and Jay-Z, Remy and Papoose, Cardi and what's her dude name?
Offset.
Offset.
Offset. Whoever it is, I don't ever look up to them as relationship goals, because no matter what dollar amount you have in your account, their relationship, I promise you, and probably struggles even worse, even more than a regular
Since
relationship
they got
does.
money. Yes.
Since they got money, because they say more money, more problems. And then on top of that, they're also inviting the world into their life. And so they probably have a whole lot more problems. Do not look up to them as relationship goes, because that's not it. What works from one person doesn't mean it's going to work for the other. This is not a, you
Exactly.
know, one shoe fit all scenario. It's just not.
Agreed.
It's just not. And so you're talking a little bit about, how you wanted your books to reflect realistic relationship expectations.
Yes, because I know everybody wants the happily ever after, but relationships are not always happily ever after. Sometimes people have to go through A through Z and then it gets to happily ever after finally. Or sometimes it just don't work out.
Hmm.
Sometimes the men cheat, sometimes the women cheat, sometimes I just put in stuff that really does happen in real life.
Right. I totally understand. And I think that's a really, really great idea. You don't want to feed people a fantasy. This is stuff that does happen. These are
Yes,
realistic things. I don't want you to read my book and you can't relate in some way. When I
yes.
read
If you might not know it, but you know a friend or a cousin that happened to or something, you know somebody it relates to.
It relates to someone. And then, in my case, when I was reading the book that I read, Her Man Is My Man, I related to the wife. Now, I didn't have a whole side dude.
Right.
I I ain't have no
But you
side
know how
piece.
it felt for your husband to do that.
Right, right. I know how that felt. And so, and for me, that was really, really relatable. I understand that. I know what it's like to feel betrayed by your husband and to wonder where your husband is, or to know that he's lying about something he claims to be doing that you just know women's
Yeah.
intuition he's not doing. And so I
I
totally understand that. Go ahead, Unique. I'm
I
sorry.
just don't. Oh no, I just say I just don't understand how women are so comfortable with being the side chick. I don't get that. I've never
Me
understood that.
neither.
Like I don't understand that. And I was like, there's difference of if you meet a man and you start dating him and you didn't know he was married
Yeah,
or
he
had a
lies to
girlfriend, and
you.
then
That's
you
different.
back, then okay, you're not the problem. But if you know this and continue it on, like
You're part of the problem.
yeah, and
Mhm.
the realistic expectation that he's going to leave his wife for you is low, because most of the time they do not leave their spouses.
They
They just
don't.
want a chick on
They
the
don't.
side, and you're okay with that. And I just don't understand how people are okay being a side chick. I don't get that. I've never understood that. I don't understand how people think that that's okay. And then I always tell people all the time, if he'll cheat with you, he'll cheat on you. That's just how
Definitely. So
it
even if he
goes.
did leave his wife, he's still gonna end up cheating on you.
Yeah, but
And that's what
that's
I thought.
exactly.
That's what I thought when I read the end and when he went back to the side chick. That's exactly what my thought was. Like, girl, he was married with a whole wife and kids, and he came back to you talking about he love you, he want to be with you. Don't you know he gonna do the same exact thing?
Exact
It
thing.
it
Because you
doesn't
allowed it.
matter, right?
Hmm.
Right. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what money you have. None of those things matter. I said if that were the case, then he wouldn't have left his wife. If sex was an issue, then he wouldn't have left his wife. And sometimes, the circumstances can vary. But honestly, I personally don't believe that there is at any point should a spouse, whether if you're female or male, ever be cheating on their spouse. That should never
Right.
happen. And the side chick, when you know and you find out he is married, duh, and I'm putting some emphasis on this because one, two, three, and four all knew he was married and still pursued him anyway.
Yeah.
So
Or
when
said it's
you
too late. I found out too late. It's never too late. Once you find out, you need to go.
you need to go. You
Yeah,
Because
need
and
it's no more potential. Whatever was in your head about your future is not there. He had to file papers, leave his wife, leave his kids. These men not doing that.
right, right. And that's what I was telling my friend. I said a lot of times the men are not going to leave unless their wife leaves first.
Yes,
If
the
the
wife leaves
wife,
them and then they go run into the side chick because now
yes.
she gone, but she left them, not them be the ones leaving.
And that is my testimony. And I'm telling you, I could speak a whole lot on it. I
yeah,
can speak
And
a
I
whole
I've
lot
just
on
had
it.
feel
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh I graduated high school 24 years ago, so you can
Hmm.
guess my age a little bit. But during high school, or probably like right after high school, I've hang with people. Well, I've hung with a person before, and they messed with a married man, and I was like, why would you do that? And he give me money, and it's like, so you just want money from him? You don't want a relationship? You don't want respect?
Right.
Gosh.
Right, right. It's crazy. It's just so crazy to me. It's so disrespectful. I think on both, whoever it is, whichever spouse is cheating, whether if it's husband or wife, it's
Yes.
disrespectful to your marriage. If you have kids, it's disrespectful to them. It's just not okay ever at any point.
No, if
Once you
you're not
know,
happy, maybe you should just leave or get counseling or something.
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I just feel like your relationship or your marriage gets to a point to where you feel like you have to cheat, it's time to just leave it. There's just no point in continuing to make both people miserable or suffer, drag out something that's just not gonna work just for whatever reason. If you feel like your relationship is at the point to where you gotta go veer off to somebody else, you might as well just leave the relationship, period.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Absolutely, 1,000% agreed. And that is one of those unrealistic expectations in
Yes.
that situationship. I won't call it a relationship, it's a whole situationship.
Yes,
It
just
is
the situation.
it's a whole August and Jada entanglement is what it is.
Yes. When you know
That's
you were in an entanglement.
when you know, you know.
And August ain't much better because he knows she's married, and that's his friend's mom. He's no better than she is either.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
no better, but you notice how, because he's a guy, he didn't get all the slack that a woman in his position would have gotten, and that's not fair
Oh
either.
yeah. No, no, it's not okay. I mean, the whole thing is not okay. And me, I'm a believer. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Christ. I do not I don't believe at no point will God ever send you a married person. That
Ever.
is not going to happen. Get that out of your head. Like, oh, the
Ever.
Lord sent me him. No, he didn't, girl. You are being used for the devil. He did not send you no married nobody's husband.
No, because they took vows. Like, come on, no.
Right, right. Like, no, he is not yours. You may want him to be, but no, it's just he's not. He's not. Until somebody leave, until the divorce is done, until everything is final, there is never any point in time should you think it is okay to mess with somebody who you know is married. That is
Exactly.
unrealistic expectation, expecting them to be devoted to you.
Right.
Expecting them to
They
be
wasn't
devoted
even
to
devoted to their wife. Like, come
you.
on.
Exactly, like, be serious. And so,
Mhm.
that's just one of those things, 2 I guess 2 of those things, side chicks and, people, relationship goals, that just really irk my nerve. Come on now, be real.
Right.
Be real. Another thing, well, you know what, Imma go ahead and give y'all a chance. What's an unrealistic expectation in relationships that you've seen people doing
Uh, hush, baby. You said an unrealistic expectation.
unrealistic expectation that we've been seeing that's probably a little bit more too popular than it should be?
Um, besides the wife stand. Okay, let's try this. I've seen where guys have had babies outside of their relationship, and the women, they chose to stay.
Mhm.
That would be hard for me, because if you choose to stay,
Yeah.
that means you have to accept that baby.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've seen women who expect the man not to be in the baby life. If you don't want him to be in the baby life, you probably just shouldn't have stayed with them. Like, it's very unrealistic to forgive a man for cheating and have a baby and think you're not about to be babysitting and around that baby. That's very unrealistic. So you have to decide, are you going to be able to look at this baby every day, or are you going to leave? Me, I would probably
Right.
leave, because I can understand where it's hard, but I can't look a man in his eyes and say, I forgive you, but F your child too, you know? So that's
Right. Right.
unrealistic.
'Cause that thought would forever be there, like, "Oh my goodness, my man had a whole baby outside of our relationship, and now, this," like, he's in the case of where the woman may wanna keep the baby, you're gonna have this child around you. It's always gonna be a reminder of
Right,
the trust that he broke.
right,
Of the trust that he broke, and it's very unrealistic to think that, okay, well, I'm going to accept him and love him, and I'm going to be there for him, and you not feel some type of way, you not feel
right.
betrayed by what he's done.
Right. Because you have to see that in your feed. So I don't know why they think, oh, I forgave him, things are going to go back to normal. It's not going to be a normal anymore,
It's
because
not
he's been
going to be
created a whole human.
normal. A whole
But,
human
I mean,
outside of your relationship. Go ahead, Unique. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's a whole bunch of, it's like a domino effect. But you can't trust him to not cheat on you because he cheated on you. So now you have to deal with that factor, him cheating on you. Then you got to deal with the baby mama drama because he done got pregnant by the baby,
And the
got her
drama probably
pregnant.
gonna come.
And she gonna want the child support, which is taking food at your kids. It's gonna be a whole
A
melee of
whole mess.
BS that nobody needs to deal with. Nobody needs to nothing. It's just gonna be a whole, like, and that's why I was that's what happened to well, not this is a child support, but Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. He had a whole baby while they were together,
Oh yeah, he surely did.
and
He
he said
did?
he was yeah, and he said he was
Yes,
gonna
when they
leave
first started
her.
talking, he did.
It- He
Wow.
said he was gonna leave her because he had a baby on her with somebody else, and she stuck by him and all that stuff. I'm like, ooh, that's a good woman because
Yes.
I don't need because the thing is for me is like the child's innocent, so you can't fault the child because the child's innocent. But
Right.
the child's mother, I would definitely have a problem with her because you knew he had a man and you
Yes.
still allowed yourself to sleep with this man and you're pregnant with this man. On top of that, my problem would be with him too because you knew that you was with me and you still allowed yourself to. Yeah, so it'd just be
You
too
didn't
much
even protect
drama for me.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah, and you don't know what there's too many stuff floating around, and then you keep coming back to me, and it's just a whole big old mess. And I just, yeah, that's definitely. I mean, if their relationship working out so far, kudos to them. But not all people could deal with somebody having a baby on them.
No, that's a lot. Mhm.
Yeah, that's
That
too
is
much.
crazy. So this was before they actually got married.
I don't know if it's before they got married, but
I don't
they was
know.
together for a hot minute. Because that baby's like in between. I think they're like second and whatever. It's somewhere after her first child. Somewhere after the first child.
Wow.
Yeah.
After his
So
first child.
yeah,
But she
yeah.
had that one, and I think to make it even worse for her situation is, I think she had a surrogate for this last one. But before the surrogate, I want to say I saw where she had like 7 miscarriages. So imagine
Wow.
trying to have a baby from him. You're having miscarriages. Then here comes this woman with this baby and saying, "Here, this is his."
Girl,
Yeah.
It would be hard.
I can raise my hand. I've been through I've been
Oh no,
through
you've been through
that.
that too. I'm
I've been
sorry.
through that. No, it's okay. It's okay. It was a learning experience. My marriage was a learning experience being with him. It was. I've talked about it on my podcast before. It's nothing that I don't mind sharing.
Okay, how
Now,
long were you married?
I was
Oh,
married for
way too
9
long.
years. She said, "Wait,
But at least you got out of it. It's people stuck in long marriages and they know they shouldn't be in it, but they're like, I'm married, and then what will people think? And they're
right.
miserable, but they worry about other people in the outside instead of their own happiness.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, my ex-husband had got to the fourth chick and I was like, "Okay,
Enough is enough.
I'm done."
Well, like I
Yeah.
said, I'm surprised you waited that long. Cause
Yeah,
not
yeah,
everybody could
yeah.
do that. Not
We went
everybody could do that. Some people, I'm
Mm-mm.
like one and done. That's it. One and done. That's it.
Even if you're
I
not
just
one and done, maybe after the second one. But when you're in love, you took vows, you're young, you want to make it work, you'll be
right.
I
amazed.
get all that, but I think for me is we took the same vowels, or even if it was a
Right.
relationship, because to me, a relationship is just as good as a marriage to me if I'm committing myself to you. So if I'm, taking the time to be loyal to you and you fix yourself to go mess with somebody else, that's one and done for me because you didn't respect this relationship as much as I did.
Right.
And that's
Right.
why
And
I
I'm the type
can't.
that just, even if I try to forgive it, because I have in the past, it just stays on my mind every time I
Yeah, I was
look
gonna say
at you. It's
goodbye. So
like this
every
not
time
gonna
he
work.
leaves, yeah, he leaving where you going. Make sure
Yeah, where
you
were
just don't want to.
you?
Yeah, you don't want to have to do all that. That's too
Yeah, it's
much. If
not
I
comfortable. It's like you gotta go because I'm not happy. I don't trust you, and I'm not about to sit here and babysit you like you're a child. So no.
Right, right.
yeah.
I mean, and y'all are both right. All of those are true. I think for me personally, what it was is it took we didn't go from good to bad. We didn't go from good to worse overnight. That's not one
Right.
of those things where it happened. It was gradually, and then I was holding on to the idea that he's like, just work with me, just work with me, just work with me, and be here with me, and be here because he's in the service, and so there's also that I need for you to be here with me.
Yeah.
And then we started having kids and things like that, and so there was things that had happened. Now there was reasons where I could have left before the women came in, but I was just willing
Mm-hmm.
to work this out with him. There were definite reasons where I could have
It
before the
sure
women were even a
sure could
factor.
have. My stance on that. I'm always
I
So
know
all
your
you can
stance
do
on
is
it.
live and learn and make sure nothing like
That's
that
it.
ever happens again.
That's all you can do is live and learn.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
baby,
That's why I
let
say
me
it's
tell
not
you,
even. Some people say it's a mistake. I would say your life experiences are never a mistake. They're always learning lessons and
absolutely.
learning things of what to do and what not to do and what to accept and what not to accept. It's always, you might have regrettable things or regret certain things or whatever, but everything that we go through in our life, whether it's good or bad, are learning lessons and learning opportunities to fix everything, and to change the way that things are.
Absolutely, 1,000%. What matters is that you do go through those life lessons, because it could have been so much worse. I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't. I'm here. We're both here. Because I the way I thought we was coming out is somebody was gonna be in jail, another person was gonna be
and see, it can get that ugly. That's why it's good to leave too.
It could.
And I do have a series called Beaten by Love. That's kind of like a domestic violence series, and in that series, it's a lot of abuse going on, and. And I wrote that because, unfortunately, that's realistic. When I was younger, I've seen family members that happened to, and even at my age now, I might know a person or two that they might think, oh, he's just